All right, I'm going to cut to the chase. I think that Alex Pereira is overrated. And I'm talking about his power, okay? I'm talking about the idea that he's going to go out there and slump Jiri Prochazka out cold with ease, okay? And that Jiri Prochazka isn't this tough matchup and that you just can't eat the left hook. You can't eat the left hook, okay? A lot of people that have eaten the left hook have lived to tell the tale, all right? And you just got to hear me out because I already know that people are going to be rushing to the comments to talk about how I'm so completely wrong. But just hear me out, and I think that by the end of this video, you will at least admit that I have a point, all right? I'm going to be picking Pereira to beat Jiri Prochazka, all right? I will be picking him to win just because I think that he's got overrated power. It doesn't mean that he doesn't have power. Of course he has power. He's laid a lot of people out. He's knocked a lot of dudes out. He's flattened them. I said a lot of people have lived to tell the tale. I just mean if you were to count up and tally up every left hook that he's landed and you were to interview his opponents after they landed, they would have been able to tell you a tale. And what I mean is I have so many instances, well, at least 4 that I'll show you right now, and those are his last 2 opponents, of course, of guys eating that nuclear off button. And I'm just here to tell you that it's not this Francis Ngannou level of nuclear power that he has in the left hook. It's not this Rumble Johnson level of power that he has in the left hook. And I also think that it's an overrated weapon because that's not even, in my opinion, his best weapon, okay? Pereira is not just good because of the left hook, and I think people realize that now. Going into the Izzy fights, a lot of people were saying that he relies on his power. It's very clear that he's obviously one of the best strikers to ever do it in the sport. He can still be a little bit overrated, though. All right? We're not even going to talk about the overrated stuff yet because I know a lot of people just hate that word because all it means is that you're rated a little bit higher than you should be. You could literally be the GOAT and still be overrated. Let's get back to it, though. Pereira's best work comes from the kicks, the low kicks. That's what sets everything up. That's what takes his opponent's movement away, okay? It's the shot selection, the jabs to the body, right? The jab up top, the low kicks, the body kicks, the head kicks, you know, circling guys off into the cage and whatnot, the footwork. It's the ability that he has to mix things up. It's his accuracy, the fact that he doesn't telegraph his strikes. The power, in my opinion, gets way too much credit. And the reason I'm making this video is that I think that a lot of you guys are under the impression that Alex Pereira is going to go out there because Jiri Prochazka leaves his chin out there and bats his chest and beckons people on. You think that Jiri's going to get hit with one of those left hooks and you think he's going to go down and faceplant. And I'm going to sit here and say that although that's possible, I don't think it's all that likely because I keep seeing people like old man Jan Blachowicz and Israel Adesanya eat that left hook like it's a Tic Tac. Okay? And I get it, dude. He knocked out Strickland. I get it. He's knocked out all these guys. He can knock out Jiri Prochazka. I'm going to be picking him to beat Jiri Prochazka. All right? For many other reasons. And I'm not really just here to talk about that today because I could go on for a whole hour. I love this fight so much. It fascinates me. I think that the kicks are going to be a big issue for Jiri. But look at that fight that Pereira just had with old man Blachowicz. Okay? Because I rewatched that fight today. And it was a whole lot more competitive than I had remembered. All right. And that's not the best look on Alex Pereira because although Jan Blachowicz, and you guys know if you've been watching my channel, I talk about Jan as being probably one of the greatest strikers to ever do it in the higher weight classes. When I say greatest, I'm talking like top 5, maybe even top 3, skill-wise. He's not fancy, but he's so effective. That wasn't prime Blachowicz in the cage with Pereira last time. It just wasn't. He's a slower, more flat-footed version of the guy that we were used to seeing back in the day. And that's just how it is, man. He's defensively sound. He's hard to hit. He's got a good chin, but he's just slower. His physical composition, his body composition, it's declined, man. It's just not the best look to see Alex Pereira in there with Jan Blachowicz, who is clearly a different guy these days, who's still very good, who I think people underrate even today. I think I underrate him. I might even be underrating him right now. But the point is, Jan Blachowicz is tagging Alex Pereira up in the pocket, trading hooks, eating left hooks. Flush, like right on the chin, right on the button. But at the end of the day, if you watch Jiri Prochazka fight, I know they're different fighters. I know this is MMA math, guys. just wait for me to make this point. Look at Jiri Prochazka fight Dominic Reyes, okay? The physicality from Jiri Prochazka is on another level. It's in a different stratosphere, man. This guy's bouncing off the wall with energy. The amount of movement that he does, like the amount of movement that he does in the first couple of minutes against Dominic Reyes is more movement that Jan Blachowicz is doing in the course of a 25-minute fight. And he just, again, it's like an inescapable tornado when you're fighting this guy. The pressure that he puts on you, the speed, the quick twitch ability. He's unorthodox. He has a reach advantage over Alex Pereira too, and his best shots are the straight shots, man. And they're coming from all these weird angles that you don't expect. And we know that Alex Pereira is the more crisp, classically trained guy. He's more polished. But that doesn't necessarily always mean it's going to be more effective, okay? Tyson Fury is probably a more polished boxer than Francis Ngannou, right? But what Francis's strengths were in that fight, aside from the power, of course, and a great granite chin, was the fact that he moved in an unorthodox way from what Tyson Fury was used to seeing, a completely different way. Coach Eric Nixick, which is Ngannou's coach, Sean Strickland's coach, who's like, in my opinion, the best coach in MMA right now, didn't want Ngannou to get himself a new boxing trainer. He didn't want to try to go out there and outbox Tyson Fury. He wanted to bring the MMA footwork into the boxing ring and use that as an advantage, okay? And I think that this unorthodox style of Jiri Prochazka, it definitely has a chance to beat Alex Pereira and to outstrike him a little bit and to throw him off guard with these straight shots. And I know that Pereira's moved up a weight class and his chin is looking a little bit better, but still, I don't know if he's just going to be able to eat these straight shots like Tic Tacs and survive in this 50-50 war that Jiri Prochazka brings people in. Again, if these guys are just going to be trading in the pocket, like I could totally see Pereira landing a flush left hook on Yuri's chin and folding him into a lawn chair. And I could see Jiri falling like Stipe did when he got hit by Ngannou, right? But I could also see Jiri eating one of those shots and giving one of his own back, all right? And I think that these guys are going to trade. I guess the reason why I'm talking about the power of Pereira is because I don't think there's going to be a first-round KO. I think if we see a knockout, it's going to come in the second, the third, maybe the fourth. I think these guys are going to be landing a lot on each other. Both guys have great chins. But when I see Jiri fight, man, I watched that fight with Dominic Reyes. The beating he put on Reyes in the first round, the craziest thing about it was that if you were to look at both of their faces after that first round, and both of them landed a lot of good blows, Jiri Prochazka looked like he had just got out of bed, and Dominic Reyes looked like he had just gotten bombed. Like a grenade just went off right in front of his face. I mean, he was all busted up, blood everywhere, his nose was messed up and broken, and Jiri Prochazka looked fresh, not a smudge on him. And Jiri can just always drag people into this 50-50 brawl. And because he's so crazy and wild and his strikes are coming from weird angles and he's doing all these spinning elbows and flying knees, like that could catch someone off guard a little bit, man. Especially because he has this insanely long reach. And Alex, I know he's capable of knocking Jiri out. I get it. But usually, more often than not, he doesn't have this like one-shot KO power. And that's what it comes down to. I think both of these guys, when it comes to their power, it's damn near even, all right? Okay? Because outside of that left hook, which is very good, it's very powerful. I'm just saying it's a little bit overrated. That's it. Outside of the left hook, the jabs, the right hands, like they're nothing that we haven't ever seen before when it comes to Pereira's power, okay? I think Jiri's right hand is more dynamite than Pereira's, okay? And I think this is a close fight. I really do. I don't think we're going to see a lot of grappling. I think that Pereira's been working on his takedown defense. I just think that Jiri's a tough guy to deal with, especially given the fact that he's just in his physical prime, 31 years old. Yes, he is coming off of that long layoff, and that's another reason why I'm going to pick against him ultimately. I am picking Pereira, guys. I'm just letting you know, and a big part of it is because of the kicks. And I think he's just going to take away that movement of Jiri Prochazka. But there is something about Jiri that's a little bit different, and I'm talking about this ability that he has to just fight through adversity and get out of bad positions that people shouldn't be able to get out of. And I'm talking about that fifth round that he had with Glover, and I'm talking about that up kick that he got hit with by Dominic Reyes, where he's just able to survive these horrible, catastrophic moments, right? We'll see Jiri's head falling off, and he'll come out and he'll still win a fight. I mean, he was almost out on his feet, completely out on his feet, it seemed. A couple of follow-up shots from Glover Teixeira in the 5th round, and Jiri would have been snoring on the canvas. But just something, some holy spirit that just seems to will Jiri Prochazka to victory, forced Glover Teixeira to just pull a guillotine in the 5th. And then he was able to fight that off and eventually work his way towards a submission, right? That up kick that Dominic Reyes landed. He was able to survive that and get the spinning elbow KO a minute later, and he still didn't have a scratch on his face after that round. This guy just has something about him, it's weird, that just makes him win every time. And I could totally see him putting Pereira out. All right, this is not my official prediction video. I just wanted to put this out there because I see most people saying that this is going to be light work and that, you know, Blachowicz is defensively sound and Jiri Prochazka doesn't have defense. He gets hit all the time. Well, Pereira gets hit all the time too. As I said, Jan Blachowicz was tagging him up. He got KO'd earlier this year. He's not a guy that's impossible to hit. Bruno Silva was piecing this guy up. And that goes to show that this style of brawling in MMA can work against these polished kickboxers. That's what let Bruno Silva have so much success. He's not a super polished striker. He's just an old-fashioned brawler in MMA. And that was one of Pereira's toughest fights. And he ate a lot of left hooks too. And so I'm just saying that I think that this is a whole lot more competitive than most people think. And I think that it's by a very small margin that one guy's going to get the better of the other. And I think that it will be Pereira. And I think that ultimately it will be because he has great shot selection. He's really accurate. He doesn't telegraph his shots. I think that if a guy like Jiri's going to be aggressive, then Pereira's going to have a good ability to counter him. But it's close. It's very close. And Pereira has been put out cold, and we've seen him get put out cold. Jiri's been knocked out back in the day by this old man King Mo. But he fought twice that day. Fought Vladimir Nemkov on the same day. So his chin was a little bit softened up. But I'm going to be picking Alex Pereira. But I just think his power, it's not the nuclear weapon that people think it is, okay? That's not what makes him so effective. What makes him effective is the nuclear kicks that he has. It's those leg kicks, which are probably the best leg kicks we've ever seen in that division at 185 or at 205. He has the best leg kicks. The only guy I know in MMA that has better leg kicks than him right now is Jonathan Martinez at bantamweight, just because he actually like TKOs people with kicks. Jan Blachowicz is a guy that had the best leg kicks in the 205-pound division, and Pereira out-leg kicked him. So I do think that's going to be an issue for Jiri. The only other guy to leg kick Jiri was Volkan Ozdemir, and his leg kicks ain't nothing compared to Pereira's. So I'm looking forward to this fight. I'll be doing my official prediction next week. I'm going to watch a lot more footage of these guys, and I'll let you guys know what I'm thinking. I just think that if there's going to be a finish, it's probably not going to be in the first round. These guys are actually going to go to war. They're going to soften each other up, and I'm hoping that we see a good scrap. Until next time.